So, I'm your MC this evening. This is your host, DZ.
Hello.
And as we said, it's been a long journey here. Almost like
Sådan vil journalisere.
geography. So, we'd like to begin with a song this evening that tells, it's a song of a similar kind of journey, of a crowd that finds freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, to begin, The Crowd.
A crab, one Scotland, cross the floor. Tick-lick, tick-lick, corn. The blinds, they're down, but could not hide the taste of poison from the grapes will stitch up. Dig, dark, the grapes will stitch up. Oh, it hurts now. Please go out. Dig, good crap. When scuttling across the floor, thinking to itself, go on, get go, Pavatis, Armut ist langweilig. The little master was looking in. Tick-lick, car. The little master was looking in and thought, oh, I have never heard such a voice anywhere. Tick-lick, such a voice. And you know, he burst the door without a care. Lucky us. The customer is dead. word. Huh, kiss my chin. Thank you, sir.
You know, also, there's one other list of people we need to thank tonight, and those are the artists who've come from far and wide to join the violet crowd this evening. And the first of those that I want to give many great thanks to and introduce for your pleasure this evening is the great bard of America, the poet, Matthew Dickman, who's joined us tonight all the way from Seattle.
Welcome to Matthew Dickman from Seattle.
Hello, Matthew.
Hello, good night. I'm actually from Portland, Oregon.
Matthew Dickman from Portland, Oregon, ladies and gentlemen.
It's probably the way I'm dressed.
That's okay. Here, let me get the mic.
It's the way, like, I know how you're dressed. You're probably from Peckham. It's my honor to be the house poet for the Violet Crab. We're going to start in an apartment, and then we're going to screw things up, and then we'll end with trying to get it right. Apartment poem. Just wait, and I'll be human any minute now. You won't know what to do with all the hair and blood I plan on growing. I'm going to not be a cloud anymore. I promise not to be an emergency or phenobarbital or a stick of gum. Soon I'm going to show up like a rented limousine in front of the high school reunion where everyone's penises and vaginas are older but still want to skip class. I'm going to jump out of the windows in my arms and into the sky around my head where a jet stream is cutting the throat of an airplane. And when I land, I'll land with all the suitcases I've ever packed, and then I'll be ready to tell you why I like you. Then I'll be in my apartment with my postcards and underwear, and I'll tell you I like you because two businessmen are kissing in the back of a cab that smells like Listerine, and a tree is traveling without its branches to Japan, and somewhere right now, a dog is eating another dog, even though they knew each other and once fell asleep with each other. One of the dogs dreaming, and the other not dreaming at all, but looking at them, you could never guess which one was expanding and which was doing the cooling. The end of the earth. I know nothing on earth has changed, but also nothing feels cool anymore. Not the sky or the grass or Frank Ocean or the beach or getting high at the mall or even the sky at night. Honey, I've been here hustling, been here getting money, but look how boring the suck my cock, eat my pussy stranger in a hotel science fair feels. How boring other naked girls are. It's just impossible to imagine not going to the movies with you or going down on you and hearing you say, fuck, 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 what's the point of popcorn now if I'm never going to hear you peeing in the other room again? So obviously a poem we can all relate to. That was a sonnet of sorts. I'm ignoring half the crowd because when I look at you, you're just too beautiful, too bright. Cosmos. It's hard to think of us out here in space when I'm watching you crawl naked across the living room floor. But there you have it. We're on Earth, rotating in the black and blue of the cosmos, even when I'm sucking on a can of nitrous or dropping acid and riding a horse made out of radiation through a forest of famous ice sculptures. The moon up, melon orange, and then down. We are floating in the great mystery of Jesus and neutrons. But I will always prefer the religiosity of your ankles after a bath, where we sank into the dark galaxy of soap and water, where your right foot knocked down the shampoo bottle while I pulled your hair and you, because you loved me, grabbed me by the neck like a Roman soldier and squeezed until I came, and all was dark a moment before the room turned into stars. This next poem is called Sidewalk. It's about a sidewalk. The titles of all my poems are very complicated and edgy. There's also, for some reason, dogs in this one too. So they scare me. Sidewalk. My mother worked like a dog for so long, it's nice to see her be the owner. There are only really 1,210,000 ways to die. The 5 main ones being your father drinking, your father breathing, your father touching anything at all, your father listening to Wagner, your father looking at you and saying, I see you. Like Pope Francis, looking at a girl's knees when he was 12, and what made him love Jesus crawled out of his pants right as she crossed her legs in the sign of a cross. Actually, there are only 10 ways to die, but I'm too afraid to say. I'm brave enough to walk home, though. Brave enough for the dark if there's a cross in it, a telephone pole or a weirdly shaped tree, if there's a dog being walked, if there's a dog at all. I want to take this opportunity to say that the Gettysburg Address is the money shot of any speech I've ever read aloud to my mom and dad. Which is to say, if you are ever even a little bit afraid, just know that other people are too. It's not just you standing in the spice aisle at the grocery store asking where they keep the anus extract, or if you can use vanilla instead. In years to come, when you sign all your letters with your mind only, know that someone is alone in her bed with a body sort of like the body you have, and that she believes that she is dying. That she is thinking about her porous mother and Scotch-tape father. You go anywhere in the world, even inside your own self, and your mom and dad will be right there like 2 warm eggs with a little chocolate and blood inside them. I'm sorry. I was just walking home and thinking about my mom and thinking about my dad, and saw one of those blue bags people use to pick up after their dog because they love that stupid dog so much. Even though it's not a baby. And even though they can't have sex with it. Not really. Not the way you and I have sex with a ball and a stick, calling each other in from the dark, whispering, good boy, and whispering, good girl. This poem's about long division. Although before I read it, I hope that everyone goes home tonight and whispers, good boy, good girl. Then the violet crowd would be successful. Long division. All my clothes are laid out, and all your clothes are in a pile. And I'm in the kitchen making coffee, and you're in bed with bad dreams and your mouth, and I'm okay with that if you want to take a bath. And I'm okay with that if you want to take it back. And all my streets are held down, all your corners are locked up, and both of us are some smoke blowing from one mouth into another, while the dude on stage is saying, hell yeah, fucking right. You feel me. Maybe there's something important I left behind in my neighborhood, and maybe his name is Anton and he's dead, so there's that. And maybe her name is Andy with an eye and a tongue snapping gum in the park, and she's got 5 kids now, so there's that. And I know we both had to sharpen pencils and learn long division in uniforms and hot lunches. Had to sit and talk, and now all the weed in the freezer is waiting to be smoked, and really wanting mom and dad to love us, which is fine. It really is sawdust and swing sets, front yards and iced tea, but who said anything about hacking each other up? I would like to end with a poem that hopefully will get what I've ruined right. ingeniously titled it Getting It Right. And this poem I wrote, it looks like it's in a book, but it's not. I wrote it earlier today for all of you. I think you're all really good looking, even though I can't see your faces. Getting it right. Your ankles make me want to party. You want to sit and beg and roll over under a pair of riding boots with your ankles hidden inside, sweating beneath the black tooled leather. They make me wish it was my birthday so I could blow out their candles. Have them hung over my shoulders like 2 bags full of money. Your ankles are 2 monster truck engines, but smaller, lighter, and sexier than a saucer with warm milk licking the outside edge. They make me want to sing. Make me want to take them home and feed them pasta. I want to punish them for being bad, and then hold them all night and say, I'm sorry, sugar, darling, it'll never happen again, not in a million years. Your thighs make me quiet. Make me want to be hurled into the air like a cannonball and pulled down again like someone being pulled into a van. Your thighs are 2 boats burned out of redwood trees. I want to go sailing. Your thighs, the long breath of them under the blue denim of your high-end jeans could starve me to death, could make me cry and cry. Your ass is a shopping mall at Christmas, a holy place, a hill I fell in love with once when I was falling in love with hills. Your ass is a string quartet, the northern lights tucked tightly to bed between a high count of cotton sheets. Your back is the back of a river full of fish. I have my tackle and tackle box. You only have to say the word. Your back, a letter I've been writing for 15 years, a smooth stone, a moan someone makes when their hair is pulled. Your back like a warm tongue at rest, a tongue with a tab of acid on top. Your spine is an alphabet, a letter of celestial proportions. When I place my finger along it, there isn't an instrument in the world I'd rather be playing. It's a map of the world, a timeline. I'm navigating the north and south of it. Your armpits are beehives. They make me want to spin wool. Want to pour a glass of whiskey. Your armpits dripping their honey, their heat, their inexhaustible love making dark. Your arms are the arms of nations. They hail me like a cab. I'm bright yellow for them. I'm always thinking about them, resting at your side or high in the air when I'm pulling off your shirt. Your arms of blue and ice with the blood running through them, close enough to your shoulders to make your shoulders believe in God. Your shoulders make you want to raise an army and burn down the embassy. They sing to each other underneath your turquoise slope-neck blouse. They are each a separate bowl of rice steaming and covered in soy sauce. Your neck is a skyscraper of erotic adult videos, a swan in a ballet and a throaty elevator made of light. Your neck is a scrim of wet silk that guides the dead to the hours of heaven. It makes me want to die. Your mouth, which is the mouth of everything worth saying. It's abalone and coral reef. Your mouth, which opens like the legs of astronauts who disconnect their safety lines and ride their stars into the 1,000,001 voting districts of the Milky Way. Darling, you're my president. I want to get this right. Good evening. So much.
To get things right. And actually, your program, there's one little thing we didn't get right, and that's one of the orders. Things have been changed around a bit. So actually, next up we'll have Adam Christensen. But maybe we're going to sing a song about not getting something right first.
Oh, I remember this night too well.
It was a bad, bad situation. We wrote this song.
Embarrassing.
Terrible.
Peinlich.
Yeah, Oberheim. So, you know, it was only...
Was letzten Donnerstag?
Yeah, exactly.
Last Thursday.
The Thursday. And what
You
happened?
woke up in the taxi?
I'm sorry. Well, we did. And, well, you know what happened? We were at the Rivoli Bar at the Ritz. And after a very long...
Don't tell us.
No, we need to. We'll tell them. What happened was, you know, at the Rivoli bar at the Ritz after a very long evening and then waking up in a taxi, we forgot something. And that's this. Don't give vodka to shellfish unless you want things to go to hell.
Now?
Don't you give that vodka to the shellfish or I'm gonna ring my bell.
Yes!
Don't give vodka to shellfish, it's a lesson you've gotta learn.
If you give vodka to shellfish,
If you give vodka to shellfish,
your
evening,
your party
your party,
will turn
from a ball
to a bar
and then
and
adjourn. Tell them what happened, Easy.
One night at the Ritz. A formal affair. Terribly, terribly gay. Shining plates of fish were arranged for the Russian mobsters. Around. So Veronique,
It was all right.
good morning.
That was not too good.
And banana foster.
Which was perfect.
Drapings of saucy seldom, not fit for the day. A fetress crab set across from the lobster.
And we were already thinking, don't give vodka to the shellfish unless you want things to go to hell.
Now,
Don't you give that vodka to the shellfish or I'm gonna ring my bell.
yes,
Don't give vodka to shellfish, it's a lesson you all should learn.
if you give vodka to shellfish,
If you give vodka to shellfish,
your evening, your
your party,
will turn
from a ball
to a turn.
and then adjourn. And it just kept getting worse and worse.
Glistening skates, Jill's all dressed up for a party. All gleamed round the table by the light of a candle. Oh! The Polish veneer, it broke
Shit.
when the lobster cried, Wendell. And as the small glasses came down, all eyes turned round as the Russian did from lady. Hey lady, no scandal.
And we all knew, just don't give vodka to those shellfish unless you want things to go to hell.
Now,
Don't you give that vodka to the shellfish or I'm gonna ring my bell.
yes,
Don't give vodka to shellfish, it's a lesson you've gotta learn.
if you give vodka to shellfish,
If you give vodka to shellfish,
her party
your party
will turn
from a ball
to a bar.
and then adjourn. And then it was a tragedy.
A young debutant crab, terribly trapped. As she saw the monster hunger for the elegant lobster, dressed in full thermidor, her cheeks kept getting hotter as the lobster kept kissing the Muscovite boxer. Young crab. She's an
Thank you very much.
Dankeschön.
Dankeschön, ladies and gentlemen. Dankeschön. So, has anyone here ever been to Russia? Has anyone been to Russia?
Mine?
Yeah.
Here is somebody.
Yeah, perfect. Well, we met the last guest on a very difficult journey on the Trans-Siberian Railroad. And I mean, to be honest, I'd never been so bored. And, you know, it was just snow.
Vodka.
And snow. And vodka. And then by the time, I mean, well, I don't know. Okay, so by the time we got to Ulaanbaatar, we had a gig in Ulaanbaatar, we passed out in the train, and the police arrived. And we ended up in prison for a bit.
But we should introduce...
Yeah, but this is where we met the next guest, in prison. And he plays the accordion so beautifully.
Please.
Okay, excuse me. So, ladies and gentlemen, Adam Christensen.
Willkommen!
Bravo! Adam, it's so good to see you again. You really got us through a tough time. And the messieurs are here. We're just going to help Adam set up his things a bit.
I was invited for dinner in the meat packing district. Job interview for the position of valet footman. A supposedly wealthy Moroccan man with residencies in NYC, London, Paris, and 3 other European cities. I arrived at the flat that wasn't his. He was staying on the sofa in an old Queen's apartment. The apartment was filled with little ornaments, dusty brown, table set for 4. The Queen and the Moroccan argued about something other than not warning my arrival for dinner A fifth chair was placed around the table. 3 old queens arrived. They sat talking about Broadway as they first experienced it. I asked about the poster in the kitchen. An old lady by a stairwell leading into Sparkles, red dress with a decadent neck jewel, massive feathers shooting out of her done-up hair, arms open wide, wide smile. Carol Channing, hello, Dolly. The oldest of the queens had been to the first ever production of Hello, Dolly as a child. Carol Channing's big breakthrough. He broke out as a gay that same evening. He was 9. A VHS tape was pulled from the shelf. A one-shot video documentation of Carol Channing reprising her role in her late years, portraying an older Dolly that the young men fancy. The Moroccan took me up to the stairs to the roof. The sun had gone down. Hundreds little lights from the skyscrapers surrounded us. He told me he has no money, at least not yet. His fortune is locked in oil bonds, only available in a year or 2. As of now, he needs someone to work for him when he comes to London. From a pocket in his jumper, his hand emerged. A lump of flesh with little pearls instead of fingers. Delicate, fleshy pearls. He ran it across my face, down the zip of my jacket, along my erect shaft poking out. A black hole spiraled towards my shivering flesh. It got swallowed up, vanished. When it returned, 5 white pearls hung around it on a string. I read a chapter in a sci-fi comic, Distant Planet, early colonization, vast oceans, intricate jungles, strange creatures. A tall, blonde German lady had found the secret to eternal youth. People would kill for it. She was on the run with a newcomer. An arrow pierced her wrist, hand dangling, drenched in blood. A young man bit the rest of the hand off, only for it to grow back again. In the early stages, the hand looked like a little lump of meat with fleshy pearls as fingers.
And the glow extinguished, the sky torn from a breeze, ghostly in the dawn without its ray, uncanny and strange to our nature. A tiny echo that smiles cut by a surgical knife. The sun last spark melts away like a dying wind. Now stands this goddess and crushes my heart.
Well, so
what's
then,
the next?
Yeah, the next thing on the list is a wonderful performance from Zhana Ivanova,
Zhana Ivanova.
and then something else. And let's see what that is. We're saying, ladies and gentlemen, next up we have a performance from the great Zhana.
We have something to do with the carpet.
Oh yeah, go for it. So next up,
I guess you help me.
yeah, sure. But as I was saying, next up we have a performance from Zhana Ivanova, who's come and visited us all the way from Amsterdam, and it's going to take a little bit of setup. And the exciting thing is we have a few audience participants, I believe, tonight, which Zhana will introduce as well.
Just to mention to the three of you once more that from now on everything you have to do will be instructed as precisely as possible by Tanya and myself. When an instruction is directed at you, we'll address you by your name. Do your best to follow the instructions and try not to look at the two of us as we do them, as we speak them. If you miss an instruction, make this sign, hand to your ear, and we'll repeat it. If you miss it again, don't worry too much about it. So, if you're ready, we are ready to begin. Pilar. Walk towards the table and sit down at sitting position B. And cross your legs. Tom. Walk relatively slowly towards the table, aiming to sit at position A.
Eddie, quickly sit on position A before Tom gets to it. Direct a victorious look at Tom. Direct a victorious look at Tom. Tom, look at Eddie for a second, then a quick look at Pilar. Pull out the chair at position C and sit on it.
Pilar, look at Tom briefly, then look at Mark III on the table. Begin to take your jacket off, but change your mind and leave it on.
Eddie, place your right elbow on Mark 8 on the table. Turn your head towards Pilar, and then place your head on your right fist. Pilar, smile at Eddie shyly. And look away towards Tom. Blink once.
Tom, in your right hand jacket pocket there are some cigarettes. Take them out and offer a cigarette to Pilar.
Pilar, tilt your head slightly to the side and bring it back. Shake your head no.
Tom, take one of the cigarettes out and place the box on Mark 13 on the table. Tap the cigarette on the table for a short moment.
Eddie, in your right-hand trouser pocket, there are some cigarettes. Take them out and offer a cigarette to Pilar. Pilar, look at Eddie, bite your lip and smile. Take a cigarette from him. Throw a quick look at Tom and lift your shoulders up and down, as well as your eyebrows. Eddie, place the cigarette box on the table on Mark 5. Appear secretly pleased.
Tom, Tom, shuffle a little in your seat.
Eddie, in the left pocket of your trousers there's a lighter. Bring it out and offer a light to Pilar.
Pilar, decline. Smile mysteriously at him. And place the cigarette on the table and push it slightly away from you.
Eddie, smile back at her. Tom, place your cigarette in your mouth and point your chin towards Eddie. Eddie, offer a light to Tom, but just as he's about to light his cigarette, pull your hand away. Place the lighter on the table.
Tom, grab the lighter and put it on the table on Mark 6 so it makes a sound. Relax back in your chair. The three of you, look at Mark 3 on the table and appear distant in your thoughts. Eddie, lift your head, look around, and appear to appreciate this environment. Now look back to Mark 3.
Pilar, pretend some smoke got in your eye and rub it with your finger. Eddie, look at Pilar and lift your eyebrows in a questioning manner.
Pilar, Open your mouth as if to say something, but don't. Smile vaguely. Tom, take your cigarette box and tap it on the table a few times quickly.
Eddie, stand up and locate position G. Walk to it and stand there for a moment. Appear calm.
Tom, take the chance and quickly sit in Eddie's place.
Pilar, cross your arms, look away from Tom. Try to look at something in the distance.
Tom, place your elbows on the table and also your hands, palms down. Look straight ahead of you. Pilar, take a look at Tom only with your eyes. And look away. Tom, tilt your head to the right and smile slightly. Slowly lift one of your hands and run your fingers through your hair. Pilar, look at him again and bite your lip. Tom, turn your head towards her in a suggestive manner. Now, look in the direction of Eddie for a moment. And now back at Pilar. Pilar, face him. Breathe in deeply. Freeze for a second. And breathe out again. Tom, continue smiling. Pretend you saw something on her shoulder, for example an insect, and brush it off. Bring your face to about 5 centimeters distance from her face. Both of you continue to look into each other's eyes.
Pilar, look away from Tom. As you do that, also lift your left hand and look at your nails. Both of you, using your left hands, brush your foreheads quickly. Eddie, come back towards the table. Hesitate. Clear your throat. Now place your fingers on the table. Take a look at Tom and point your chin at him, as if asking for something.
Tom, take a coin from your left hand jacket pocket. And throw it lightly at Eddie. Eddie, take the coin and go away again, back to position G.
Pilar, look towards Eddie as he walks away.
Eddie, appear less calm.
Eddie, next to you there's a glass of Coke and 2 glasses of whiskey. Take them to the table, preferably at once. Place them anywhere on the table. Sit down on chair C, a little tense.
Tom, place the glass of Coke on the table on mark 2. also place one of the whiskies on mark 8. Now whisper something in Pilar's ear. Pilar, laugh. And take a sip from your Coke, if you wish.
Eddie, nod your head 6 times. Take the other glass of whiskey and drink from it. Then place it on mark 11 on the table. All 3 of you can drink from your drinks at any time if you feel like it.
Pilar, look at Eddie and smile, a little bit forced.
Eddie, lift your glass and nod your head towards Pilar.
Pilar, look at him slightly distrustful and sustain this feeling for a while.
Eddie, take a sip from your glass. As you do that, think quickly.
Tom, laugh silently. Pilar, look at Eddie. Direct the edges of your lips down and lift your shoulders up and down.
Tom, shake your glass a little, looking inside it. Purse your lips as if you're whistling.
Pilar, look at each of them a little suspicious. Look Eddie in the eyes. Now look Tom in the eyes. And repeat this 2 more times, but much faster. Now, acquire a slightly provocative facial expression.
Eddie, stand up. Open your eyes wide. Now, try to sit at the left of Pilar. Try to sit at the left side of Pilar.
Pilar, move over towards Tom. Look straight ahead of you.
Eddie, take your glass and place it on mark 12. Put your hand on Pilar's shoulder and imitate her facial expression.
Pilar, move your drink to mark 14.
Eddie, hold her elbow with your right hand and look at her. Smile, your eyebrows up.
Tom, look at Eddie and imagine you can move him with your eyes. Attempt to do it. Stand up and take your chair to position C and sit on it. Fill your cheeks with air and blow it out quickly. Move your drink to mark 7.
Pilar, place your elbows on the table. Now with the middle fingers of both your hands, rub above your eyebrows once. Now stand up and go to floor position F. Put your hands on your waist and stand here for a moment facing the table.
Tom, get up and try to sit on the left of Eddie. On the left.
Eddie, shift to the right.
Tom, appear friendly.
Eddie, move your drink to mark 10.
Tom, move your drink to anywhere on the table. Both of you, place your hands on your knees and round your shoulders, looking straight ahead.
Eddie, turn your head towards Tom, then back again. Tom, look in Pilar's direction, then at Eddie, and then back again. Eddie, take your glass and look inside it. Think violent thoughts.
Tom, lift your head slowly up. Keep it up, and now move only your eyes towards the table. Think violent thoughts. Pilar, come back to the table with mixed feelings. Take the available chair and sit at position C, in the front of the table.
Eddie, look at Pilar, bite both your lips, and wink at her with both your eyes.
Tom, do a little dance with the fingers of your right hand on your knee. Pilar, smile and imitate this little finger dance.
Eddie, stand up quickly. Appear a little stressed. Walk to position E.
I think there's something on it, so take any position you like.
Stand with your back to the others. And now turn your head towards them. Slowly place your right hand in your left inside trouser pocket.
Tom and Pilar, slap your hands on your knees and stand up.
Pilar, take a look towards position F. Look at the table and raise your eyebrows up and down quickly. Now casually walk to position F. Tom, walk as you would to position D. Face the others. Put your right hand in your back trouser pocket.
Pilar, put your right hand over your mouth. Look at Tom, then at Eddie, and keep doing that for a while.
Eddie, look at Tom, then look at Pilar. Keep doing that. Tom, look at Eddie, then look at Pilar. Keep doing that.
The three of you slowly turn towards the back wall. All together, on the count of 3, jump very lightly once on the spot. 1, 2, 3. And one more time. 1, 2, 3. Now, turn normally towards us. And this is where we'll stop. Thank you, Pilar, Tom, and Eddie. And thanks for your attention.
That kind of menage-a-trois thing always reminds me of what a bitch love is, Jesus. Right, so we're up to our intermission, and before we go, we're going to sing you one last song in the spirit.
Excuse me.
Well, here, let me help you 1 second. So, thank you. So now, in the spirit of threesomes and all difficult things of love, we're going to sing you a love song before the intermission. And during the intermission, friends, please there'll be waiters with cocktails, we'll have a dancing interlude, and we'll have a wonderful interlude from Christodoulos Panayiotou.
Excuse me, I take a sip of water.
Have a sip. And during the intermission, we'll be performing this beautiful interlude called La Bayadia. It will be fantastic, and then there'll be another little dance, and we'll be back for Act 2 with a few more acts. And now here I am on my own. So I would recommend the cocktails at intermission. Actually, I think she's probably having a cocktail back there. Deezy?
I'm back.
Fabulous. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you. And this next song is called With All 12 Legs.
I walk long and hard to be known by this clock. Look at my record, have a closer, we contract, look down. There's not a deal I even pincered, not a man left in town who hasn't felt a sting for taking me a score. No, it's fine. Life's not a spell. Listen, I'm sorry, don't crow. With gloves, there's no hands to withdraw. So don't withdraw your hand. That was my greatest mistake. once I was so. Look at my records, every picture, everyone. I'm happy and fat. Perhaps it had charm, I'm not sure. Perhaps it was tit for tat that brought us here, tough to the bone. That's the cost of waiting, not saying, playing and playing this and that, with just such a trouble inside this love. So don't let me lose what inside. It was my greatest mistake. Creating this hardcover. What a major faux. 'Cause now you don't want me no matter much I say. Don't you see I love you with all the flowers, with the we flow. Don't leave me, darling, because of this claw. Have you heard me?
I can't be any stronger.
Come out from your arms.
Don't you have something to say?
Can you hear me?
Oceans make distances longer.
The tide's out and I'm exposed.
Perhaps you like it this way. These claws are useless. I'm still soft underneath. This ship is smashing itself against that bloody reef.
So don't leave me here alone in this earth, my greatest mistake was staying each time I left. What a major faux pas. 'Cause now you don't want me no matter much I say. Don't you see I love you with all 12 flags, with every flow. Here I am, darling, defenseless, because of this Thank you.
We'll see you in half an hour. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Legally, 24th of June, 2014. Dear Valeria, the sun has just risen behind the huge rocks. I'm at Ligali, an archipelago of small islands off the Amalfi coast, which is also known as Cyrenaica, the islands of the sirens. This is where the mythical creatures used their enchanted voices to lure mariners into certain death. Ulysses, the valiant king of Ithaca, was the only man to have tricked them. He both relished listening to their songs and survived to recount them to us. On his way back to Ithaca, Ulysses craved to pass by the islands of the Sirens, but knew very well that in doing so, he would at once become incapable of rational thought. Drawn to jump into the waters and meet his death. Ingenious as he was, he instructed his men to cover their ears with wax and tie him firmly on the mast. He then ordered that he be kept tied by all means. The harder I tried to escape, the tighter the ropes should be kept, Ulysses commanded. As they approached Cyrenaica, the sea was calm and the sirens began belting out extraordinary notes. Ulysses' body instantly surrendered to the force of the underworld muses. He was at once tantalized and began to shiver mildly. As the boat passed through the big rocks, every single muscle of his body contracted, flexed, and released so violently that the ropes began to break. His comrades found it difficult to restrain him, but abruptly he entered a state of lethargy that was soon transformed into profound stupor. He seemed lost to the world, and nobody believed he would ever recover. One Misty morning, several days passed. Ulysses opened his eyes and began to speak. He told his men everything about the songs he had heard. He invented new words and coined original metaphors in order to describe the otherworldly voices of the sirens. You see, the achievement of Ulysses is not restricted to the order of a courageous feat. His unprecedented attainment is that he put the unspeakable into words. He described the sound of the unheard. He named the unnameable. It is, therefore, no accident that by Book 9 in Homer's The Odyssey, Ulysses steps forward as a narrator in media res, and thus takes over from the third-person narrator of the previous books. This very transition is his most courageous adventure, as with it, Ulysses positions himself bravely at the threshold between myth and literature. From this specific point forward, he becomes simultaneously the archetype of the Western hero and the end of it, the subject of narration and the narrator himself. Ulysses exists to recount because he recounts. As a matter of fact, his actual dealings center around his power of language in the first place. The cunning hero is able to get anybody, humans and monsters, to believe his falsities, as his words and imagination are his primary strengths. Both through his actions and as a narrator, he consciously transforms secrets into knowledge and imagination into words. Some versions of the myth tell us that the enraged sirens, desperate after their failure to tempt him, threw themselves into the deep waters and drowned to death. Their voices were thereafter never heard. Ulysses was the last one to hear them and the only one who survived to describe them. With their act of suicide, the sirens provide a final confirmation of the passage from the unnameable experience to its narration, the defeat of experience by language. I remember studying Homer at school and projecting it to the injustice I felt while watching Tom and Jerry. I got to know both at the same time, found Tom sympathetic and Ulysses vexatious. Tom had every right to terminate the obnoxious rodent called Jerry, which had been aggressively provoking him for as long as I could remember. It is a law of nature, after all, for cats to eat mice. The same goes for Ulysses. He should have died long before he gained the seas of return. His glory over chimeras, cyclops, witches, and brave warriors was truly frustrating. The way he treated Philoctetes was abominable, to say the least. He was disloyal to his wife, proud, and arrogant all the way through. He sacrificed his fleet for his own salvation, and it was actually nothing other than his repetitively foolish decisions that caused him most of the troubles. But with the passing of time, years after I last watched a Tom and Jerry episode, I realized the unique position of Ulysses in the scale of heroes. Hercules found death to become one, but Ulysses constantly becomes one by clinging to life. Heracles is too great to live. Ulysses is too great to die. It is this significant divergence from the stereotype of the martyrical altruist, together with his jubilatory transcendence, that turns Ulysses simultaneously into a hero and a storyteller. This said, I was not the only one to be angered by his enduring successes. One of my favorite versions of the myth of the sirens describes the abiding triumph of the sea chanters and the failure of Ulysses to listen to their songs. A failure, in other terms, to possess and narrate their secrets. Kafka's The Silence of the Sirens seems to have been written in one breath, and I suggest that you read it that way, if you haven't yet. His Ulysses is less of an adventurer avid for new experiences and more of an accidental thug. He asks the sailors to stop their ears with beeswax and takes all other measures that Homer's Ulysses does. But as soon as he approaches them, the potent songstresses actually did not sing, whether because they thought that this enemy could be vanquished only by their silence, or because the look of bliss of the face of Ulysses, who was thinking of nothing but his wax and chains, made them forget their singing. Now the sirens have a still more fatal weapon than their song, namely, their silence. And though admittedly never such a thing happened, it is still conceivable that someone might possibly have escaped from their singing, but from their silence, certainly never. With these words, Kafka timidly suggests that there might be ways for the myth to continue in the disobedience of silence. One could call this existentialist imagination, the turning point at which the weight of silence is directed against the loquacious hero, against the begetter and the narrator, against the event and its proliferation. The sun is setting behind the huge rocks. I'm at Ligali, an archipelago of small islands off the Amalfi coast, which is also known as the Cyrenus, the islands of the sirens. Cyrenus is also the island of Leonid Massin, the great dancer and choreographer of the ballet Russ. What is more, it is the island of Rudolf Nureyev, the greater dancer of our times. You see, mythology is but a palimpsest in constant flux. Newer myths will always erase the old ones, either by violent acts of annihilation or by halting the haunting of their existence. I remember watching, when I was still a student, a documentary shot on the island about Nureyev's life. My ballet friend, Eva, lent it to me this one summer and never got it back. She was a great admirer of Nureyev and had all sorts of VHS recordings in a drawer that I used to envy. The videotape, I can still picture this, was labeled Nureyev in thick red ink. I became obsessed with it. I would watch it daily after lunch and right after watching The Blue Lagoon. The two became weirdly connected in my mind. They were both very sensual and also the first moving images of a male nude I'd ever seen. At the end credits of the documentary, Nureyev is seen sitting naked on the rocks of his island, contemplating the sea in a melancholy mood that can be described as the exact opposite mood from that of Christopher Atkins and Brooke Shields as they, also unclad, walk around their island. I am positive that those rocks are the ones found in the southern part of Ligali. Michael and I had a swim there yesterday evening, and I'm pretty sure that I found the very rock on which Nureyev sat at the end of the documentary. And, as you can imagine, I did contemplate the sea from there for a little while, in melancholy. Back in the first years of gymnasium, I rewound and rewatched the ending credits of the documentary so many times that the tape was eventually worn and impossible to view anymore. This was my private excuse for never giving it back to Eva. I guess I told her I'd lost it, or perhaps she forgot about it. The same thing happened to my Blue Lagoon tape around the moment when a naked Atkins slides down a natural slope. Nureyev was a notorious exhibitionist. The other day I heard a story from a family I met here, old friends of Nicoletta and Giovanni. They were invited to dine with him at the island. They came by boat with their 2 young daughters and found him waiting for them on the pier with no clothes on. He escorted them to the table and remained naked throughout dinner, dessert, and coffee. This caused them great embarrassment at the time and became an exciting memory today. Actually, most of the people I've met from the Amalfi Coast recall Nureyev being cheeky and naked, essentially as an arrogant, provocative, and spoiled star. I believe he was more than that. With his excessive daily performances, he managed to turn arrogance into an art and contempt into a method. The everyday Nureyev was a radical hypertrophy of his stage roles. This is actually the major difference with the other great dancers of his era, such as Baryshnikov, who, like Nureyev, came from a peasant Soviet background. Mikhail Baryshnikov was indeed a great interpreter, a wonderful Albrecht, Siegfried, or Jean de Brine. But Nureyev was the one who became them in real life. He didn't impersonate them on stage, he became them in real life. The stage was for him a battlefield, and the booty he gained in each performance were redeemed in reality. He invented an excessive everydayness, coherent with emotional excess of his balletic roles. Luckily, he was not the best custodian of these borders. His experiential narcissism benefited both life and art, but above all, it was of great benefit to contemporary ballet. He danced constantly against tradition on demi-pointe, what is now a standard way of dancing for male dancers, just because he wanted to elongate the lines of his legs. He fought against trousers and successfully established academic tights, even for Don Quixote. He actually reinvented the figure of the male dancer as an artist in his own right, and not as a mere supporter of the ballerina. His manneristic, effeminate, as critics of the time maintained, and romantic expression combined with his visceral sexual physicality became somewhat of a goal for every male dancer ever since. His many photographic portraits are clear proof of that process. They constitute outstanding lessons on how one can construct a self, another self, and reinforce it moment after moment. I am thinking specifically of his naked portrait by Avedon, and the unique way in which he provides his body as an offering to the photographer, while, with his eyes, he looks down at him and you through the camera lens. I am convinced that it is actually the extraordinary prowess of this body that allows such a complex construction of pride, arrogance, and contempt. You should look for this particular photo, or I should show it to you the next time we meet. There is yet another performance of his exceptional arrogance that I find revealing. It is a 1967 report documenting his brief arrest in San Francisco after he unwisely visited, together with Margaret Fontaine and many other people, a party that was raided by the police. Following his release, he found himself before a group of thirsty journalists who started asking questions aggressively. Unlike Fontaine, he didn't try to escape with an elegant smile. He instead stood there in silence and stared at each camera, separately and at all together. In his unique way of looking down at and through, he had the assertive eyes of silent movie stars, long forgotten by the cameras of that time. He kept his lips tensed and turned his head around mechanically to anyone who addressed a question. The whole thing lasted very long and was momentarily awkward. Not for him. I believe he took the same pleasure from this moment as he did after a perfect execution of the demanding manège in Le Corsaire. It took me many years to realize that the ending credits of Eva's documentary were truly very sad. As a teenager, I could sense the loneliness and longing. But I had to watch his Bayadère at the Paris Opera last year and then come here in order to put my dates in order. Nureyev bought the islands, his final and more indulgent kingdom, in a series of extravagant properties in 1988. That is, 4 years after he tested positive for HIV. Though he initially denied anything was wrong with his health, the Nureyev I saw sitting on those rocks certainly knew that he was about to lose everything. The extraordinary prowess of this body first. That was probably Nureyev's last summer on Ligali. During that period, he made one of his most beautiful contributions to ballet. The most beautiful one, I often tend to think. The first staging of Le Bayadère in Europe using Petipa's notes and Minkus's original music. A long due disclosure, as he was the one to introduce excerpts of the ballet, including the famous Kingdom of Shares, to the Parisian public during the 1961 tour. It was actually after this very performance that he defected from the Soviet Union and became the most sought-after dancer in the West. Months following the dissolution of the Soviet Union, heavily ill, Nureyev was working hard to stage, at the Paris Opera, one of the many well-kept secrets in the antagonisms of the Cold War. La Bayadère premiered on October 8th, 1992, at the Palais Garnier. The heartbreaking variation of the death of Nikitya, perfectly executed in his version by Isobel Williams, transcends, I believe, all those endings and gives us access to his thoughts as he was sitting on those rocks. Let me tell you the story of Nikitya, the most beautiful dancer at the temple of Shiva, and Solor, the brave warrior who swore eternal fidelity to each other. Solor, upon his return from the war as a brave hero, is selected by the king, Raja Dugmanta of Golconda, to marry his daughter, Princess Gamzati. Unable to turn down the offer, he has no other choice but to betray his real love. As if this is not enough to break the fragile heart of Nikitya, she is also forced, being the finest dancer of all the bayadères, to dance at the betrothal celebrations of her beloved with another woman. Heartbroken as she is, she performs a somber dance until she is given a basket of flowers and is asked to entertain the couple with a more vivid routine. Little does she know that the basket is from Gamzati and the Raja, who have hid a venomous snake beneath the flowers. Nikitya holds the basket too close, and the serpent bites her on the neck. The High Brahmin offers her an antidote, but she chooses death rather than life without her beloved Solor. She dies by the end of the first scene. The premiere of La Bayadère at the Paris Opera on October 8th, 1992 was Nureyev's last appearance on stage. Nikitya's final dance, his testimony. He passed away 3 months later and was buried at the Russian cemetery of Saint-Geneviève-des-Bois in the outskirts of Paris. His body lies under a mosaic designed by his close collaborator, friend, and set designer of La Bayadère, Ezio Frigerio. The tombstone consists of a Ravenna marble, three-dimensional rendering of one of his favorite kilims. Nureyev was passionate about Anatolian kilims and had an important collection of these. He was wearing something of that sort on his last appearance on stage at the end of La Bayadère at the Paris Opera. It was also his collection of kilims that seemed to have given direction to the opulent Orientalist set designs of Ezio Frigerio for his last ballet. Nureyev is literary and in every possible way buried with and under La Bayadère. Giovanni bought Sirunes from Nureyev's foundation in 1996. The furniture, costumes, and all sorts of extraordinary items of his collection were sold at two major auctions, one in London and one in New York. This was his will. All the gains had to go to his foundation for the promotion of dance. Giovanni got very few things from those auctions. Two are notable. An extraordinary cape with floral golden ornaments that I was lucky to wear during last New Year's Eve party, and a mirror. It is this mirror, I am convinced, that the essence of the place resides. It is somewhere in this building I am currently staying, the old Massine Ballet Studio, but he is not sure which one it is. It must be the one in my room. It feels like a mirror that has suffered Nureyev's gaze for a very long time. It's getting rather late, my dear friend, and the winds are announcing a tempest. I shall go back to my room, take a look in the mirror, and let go of my thoughts. Mythology is, after all, an old, vanishing text which allows, with the passing of time, ways of seeing through the faint remains of past texts. In that manner, the scriptio inferior will always disrupt the scriptio superior, and thus the two will be merging together into that obtuse space between the old and the new, the before and the after, the inferior and the superior. Cyrnus will, therefore, always be the island of the greatest of heroes, Ulysses, and the greatest of dancers, Rudolf Nureyev, the island of Masin and the sirens, the island of Nikitya and the luring songs, the island of the mirror and the tempest, the island of the mirror above all. With love and admiration, Christodoulos.
Did you want to join me back up here? Have you made some new friends over here? Hello, perfect. Are you going to come? Hi. What's your name? Simon. Simon, thank you for coming. And, well, what did you drink in the interval? Okay, well, at least they're serving booze here tonight at the Violet Crab. Now, Simon, if you could just bring my co-host keeps disappearing. If you could escort her back up to the stage, and we're going to sing you a song.
Silver gold,
folded or splayed,
silver gold,
folded or splayed,
one perfect dollar,
singing for supper.
I take the stage.
Ah, yes, as the crowd holler. Come on, finger to hip, finger to hip.
Oh, post up chest. Oh, they wish me well.
And then, like a whirlwind, we left.
Stronger and stronger my shell.
At
15, the factory beckons.
Get that perfect dollar. It's always the same.
Don't you reckon?
They make you feel stronger.
Oh, strong stop.
But don't worry, the city's yours. Don't be swell.
It's not past closing time. Your little hands won't break my shell.
Fear sets in my advance far. When there's nothing to eat.
I don't go back to that bar. Big, the concept is me.
Father, past care, I couldn't be.
You ashamed, I can tell.
Goodbye.
That's a trick of my shell.
Older, I'm going right round the bend.
Life is for living.
Fine, that's fine.
Ending up with no friends.
Time, that's time.
I'm not stopping.
Or else.
Right here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's ending.
Perfectly fine.
I'm well. 'Cause I'm 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 '
your bosses tonight. We're one of you now. Hear our voice, be scared in fright. We're taking a bow.
So, when you pass us,
Don't look.
go to hell.
See, nothing's for free. There's not a crack in my shell. There's not a crack in our shell. There's not a crack in our shell. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, the next act. Thank you very much. Thank you to you all. So, we have to call a lot of people to, see who is going to be able to make it this evening. And there's one other phone call that we haven't been able to make. So shall we make that call now?
Yeah, maybe, but we need a mobile phone.
Does someone have a phone we could use just for a second? Anyone? Anyone a phone? It will be a quick call. And then, so if we just, we'll move these mics. Here, 1 second, thank you. Anya, if you could just pass me the phone. Thank you very much. Hello? Hello. Shall I make the call?
Okay, I take mine.
Okay, super. Here we go. Right. And so please share for a second in front of you. Cool. Thank you very much. Here we go. So let's just see. Thanks, I appreciate it. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Guten Tag.
Actually,
Super. Now listen to Lynn. What's the story? We're still waiting for the answer.
we can make it. Bibi Latiri, sie hat ja gesagt.
Fantastic! Bravo! Thank you. That's perfect. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Cheers! Thank you. Now, so ladies and gentlemen, let's get these out of the way because we've just got this really exciting news. So, everyone, listen. Thank God for Switzerland tonight, huh? So, Pippi Wrist has
And our nice performer.
yes, but Pippi Wrist has agreed to give her first performance here at the Ballet tonight with the help of a young performer from Buenos Aires, Huyghe Aparicio.
He looks really good.
He looks fantastic. wait till someone gets naked. So thank God Switzerland came through tonight for us all. So listen, it's a great pleasure for us now to introduce the final act of the evening. Someone with an extraordinary voice and an exquisite beauty. You'll have to just bear with us a moment because she's a large band. But please, ladies and gentlemen, please give us a wonderful round of applause for the one and only, the exquisite, the extraordinary Huyghe.
When I was a girl, I saw the face of God in a pebble I found in the quarry pool. But then again, when I was a girl, I saw the face of God in everything. When I was a girl, mad with curly hair, I had two eyes that seemed to kiss the air around me. My pebble shone as the flies rose in the swallow light. I brushed the mud off my pebble guard and took it home. And oh, the flowers and people grow in fields below the stars, the stone under my pillow. It took it all away. I know I'll be a woman someday. Someday, they tell me. I used to fall asleep fast as the river, and twice as deep. Dreams turn the winters into wine. The river grinds the pebbles down until they shine. When I was a girl, I felt it start. The deepest pounding of the deepest heart. But then again, when I was a girl, the world turned, and I loved. The feather that found the wind, and you are the sky I scarred. I'm your defeat, forgotten now, and I drop an unplayed card. I found a voice, I wrapped my tongue around it, and I swallowed it, my choice, to roll the dice again in hope. There's no such thing as sin, and God is just a box they keep their soldiers in, to remind you to keep kind. They're pounding at the door, the unforgiving rays. God, I never could have known how much a name weighs. I have to think, each echo stays. Oh, how could such a simple thing survive these days? snuff the light, hold back the pouring rain. I am your fate, forgotten now. We'll live our lives again. I found a voice, I wrapped my tongue around it and I swallowed it. My choice, to roll the dice again in hope. But not a sinner there's no such thing as sin. And God is just a box they keep their soldiers in, to remind you to keep mind. They're pounding at the door, the unforgiving rays. God, I never would have known how much your name weighs. I had to think, each echo stays. Oh, how can such a simple thing survive these days? Was silence, like no silence I felt before. Earthquakes and hurricanes make for broken weather vanes, and I can't hear wind anymore. So let them tear the door, my banner is ablaze. God, I never would have known how much your name weighs. I had to think, each echo stays. I had such a simple thing, survive these days. I was with the beast in the lightning and the mist. We tied balloons to the mouth of the estate, so the mouth of the estate was smiling. We blushed its face with clouds of base, 100 years of stars used up in one last evening. But the boys have gone, and the noise of the rites of spring set the sweet sun ticking, and the beast, and I think the boys are coming back for me. For 10 years running now, all I've done is what I've seen. A row of shepherdesses watch a china bull in the figurines. In the trunk of love, she hears the unicorns clattering in. Alive through the mess on the kitchen windowsill. In the white sprite's light, her heart's cracked porcelain divides and starts to beat again. In the trunk of love, she hears the unicorns clattering in. Alive through the mess on the kitchen windowsill. In the white sprite's light, her heart's cracked porcelain divides began to shiver. Blood laughter like white cider till the sun ticked, oh, shadows through home. And the days have gone, and the wild flowers grew me a test of strength for a whelp knight pouring out his love on a riverbank. The boys are coming back for me. For 10 years running now, all I've done is what I've seen. A row of shepherdesses watch a china bull in the figurine. In the junk of love, she hears the unicorns clattering in. Alive through the mess on the kitchen windowsill. In the bright white light, her heart's cracked porcelain divides and starts to beat again. In the junk of love, she hears the unicorns clattering in. Alive through the mess on the kitchen windowsill. In the white bright light, her heart's cracked porcelain divides and starts to beat again. And starts to beat again. And starts to beat again.
Thank you all so much for coming and joining us here this evening. And you know, there's a lot of people I'd like to thank again, particularly David Roberts and Indra Supatit Roberts, the Gallery Circle, the Advisory Board, Vincent Honore and Nicola Bertucci, and especially all of the artists that performed here tonight. Dankeschön. Dankeschön. Have a seat, and I'm going to sing you one last song this evening before we go. And this song is called Trouble for Invertebrates. Yes, the ocean is perfectly flat. It's an expansive mirror. And yes, the yachts move quietly past, spinning around that land. Yes, look, elegant divers, they jump into pools that couldn't be clearer. The shore, the music floats past, coming from that rust. Under the water, the sound begins to get clearer. It grows stronger and stronger. Yes, under the water, there hasn't been this kind of armistice. They know it's a dark time for inferno. Use all your resourcefulness, don't act with pride. If they can't see your flesh, you're a person they want to mind. So stay out of sight with your eyes on the both sides. Don't you know that the king, he only likes when invertebrates sing? What a fright. And yes, we've been told the blue ocean's for all. Yes, do whatever you want, whatever you wish. Yes, just you remember that you're not at the last ball, and you'll do fine with the rest of the fish. However, if you're not so happy and willing to roll, yes, if you're not so willing to take such a grilling, yes, if you're not so willing, gather all your resourcefulness, for we know it's a dog time for invertebrates. So take this as the matter at hand. It may be hard to know who to trust when you're back on the sand thinking, oh yes, my skeleton, yes, it's the height of tastefulness. Turn your back on the turf, I tell you this control's a must. Your slippery shell from the dust, your claws back to the surf. Or else you'll end up singing for your supper. Or else, my dear crustaceans, you'll all just end up as another bunch of invertebrates who've been fried. On the Isle of Pacawal, there was a young crab whose violet shell had begun to make him feel sad. All through the whole jungle, he stuck out like a thumb. His exquisite shade, it was a struggle until the sailors, they did come. They praised each one of his vows, and suffering shock the crab he couldn't speak. But it kept coming, all the applause, till the sailors, they felt weak. And the captain suddenly spoke. Dear, dear crab, come with us, and you'll be a star. And the crab, he couldn't help think it was a joke. Oh, his hand taken his collar to be strong. But suddenly he realized that the captain had spoken true. At last, my chips have come in. But then fear did get the crab, and he didn't know what to do. For he looked in the captain's eyes and saw nothing but sin. Thank you. Good night.